All right, welcome everyone, and thank you for attending today's Planning Commission meeting. The commission's convening today to discuss several matters on the agenda. The commission is also required to review these items. Our vote will advise the mayor and council prior to any actions that they take. The bills on our agenda will also be reviewed at various council committees and at city council, where the meetings will be held publicly and open to comment. Please be respectful of the process today and all individuals participating in this meeting. We do appreciate the dedication and enthusiasm that everyone's giving to this process. Please also be aware that while anyone can speak about an agenda item, staff and/or commissioners might not respond to every question or comment. During public comment, please only speak to the actual item on the agenda that's being reviewed. Please do not restate comments or questions that other members of the public have already commented on. The commission may request that comments from the public be limited in time so that everyone has a chance to participate. And then finally, I want to take the time to thank the staff for putting these meetings together. I'll now call this meeting to order and hand it back to staff to start the meeting. David?
Thank you, sir, and good afternoon, everyone. David Fecto with the legislative team at the City Planning Commission, here to read an important safety announcement. Your safety is our priority. You are currently in room 18029. In an emergency, please listen to announcements on the loudspeaker, which will provide safety information. If you do not hear an announcement, please follow the directions of security officers and city planning staff. There are two doors along the side wall to your left. Those doors lead to the elevator lobby. If an order is given to evacuate this room, the nearest stairway is to your right. Once you reach the lobby, follow the exit signs to reach the stairway. If an order is given to evacuate the building, the rally point is at Love Park. Please remain at the rally point so we can account for you. Restrooms are in the lobby across from the elevators. I will now turn the meeting over to Sarah Bond, who will explain the process for our meeting format today.
David, welcome to the April 16th, 2026 Philadelphia City Planning Commission meeting. I'm Sarah Bryson Bond with the Planning Commission staff, here to review some brief housekeeping procedures for today's meeting. During the meeting, each agenda item will be presented by a member of the Planning Commission staff. Following each presentation, the chair will ask the commissioners for questions or comments. The chair will then ask the audience for their questions and comments. After that, the commissioners will finish their discussion and vote. If you would like to speak during the agenda item's public comment period, click or tap on the raise hand button on the menu bar on the bottom of your screen at any time during that agenda item. If you're attending the meeting in person, please raise your hand. You will be called on by the chair and have the opportunity to speak to the commission and the audience. If you're calling into the meeting by phone, you can press *9 to raise your virtual hand to speak. Please only use the Q&A function if you have questions about the meeting process. This meeting is being recorded and will later be posted to our website. Thank you again for joining us today. And now I'll turn the meeting over to Jesse Lawrence, the commission chair.
Thanks so much, Sarah. I will now call roll call. Commissioner Clinton?
Present.
Commissioner Brown?
Present.
Commissioner Lee?
Present.
Commissioner Iding?
Here.
Commissioner Valle?
Present.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Present.
And I believe Commissioner Somerville said she would not be present today, so I believe we have a quorum. Thank you. Looks like we have no meeting minutes to review this particular month. Hopefully we'll have that next month and ready for review and approval. I will now ask Director Howell to commence with the Executive Director's report for this month.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, commissioners and members of the public. Thank you for joining us. My name is Octavia Howell, Executive Director of the Philadelphia City Planning Commission. Here we have our next meetings. The next Civic Design Review Committee meeting will take place on Tuesday, May 5th at 1 p.m. And our next regularly scheduled City Planning Commission meeting is Thursday, May 21st at 1 p.m. We will host these meetings in person at 1515 Arch Street in room 18-029, so this room, and on Zoom. We have one item for 45-day review. Councilmember Jones requested zoning bill 260298 to rezone Lankenau High School from RSD 3, single family, to SP Civ, civic, educational, and medical. As in many older areas of the city, our planners ran into technical issues trying to find the correct property boundaries, which has delayed creating maps. We hope to have them ready for your review at the May Commission meeting. We have one streets encroachment bill for administrative approval today. Bill number 260627 allows an addition to an existing staircase encroachment at 611 South 7th Street. This encroachment is on the third floor and will not impact the sidewalk for pedestrian use. A minimum of 4 feet, 4 inches of clear sidewalk space is to remain after installation. This concludes my executive director's update. I am happy to take any questions and will turn the meeting over to the chair.
Thank you, Director Howell. Any questions from the audience, or excuse me, from any of the commissioners on the Executive Director's report? Seeing none, any questions from the audience present? Also seeing none. Sarah, do we have any questions online for Director Howell? You should.
No questions, Chair.
Thank you. Appreciate you. We'll now get into the agenda. The first action item on the agenda is Property Bill number 260242, and that will be presented by Nina Solomonic, and I believe this is the old Germantown Town Hall.
Sorry, I'm short. Hi, my name is Nina Solomonic, and I am presenting Property Bill 260242, which authorizes the Commissioner of Public Property to execute and deliver a deed to the Philadelphia Authority for Industrial Development, conveying fee simple title to the certain tract of city-owned land with buildings and improvements situated on 592830 Germantown Ave in the 8th Councilmatic District of the City of Philadelphia. This bill was introduced by Councilmember Bass on March 19th, 2026. Property bills regulate the buying, selling, and gifting of land and certain property leasing activities for the City of Philadelphia. When land is transferred from city to a private owner or from private ownership to the city, it is done through a property bill. The Planning Commission weighs in to make sure that the land transfer or property's long-term lease is aligned with the city's comprehensive plan. It does not weigh in on the terms of the sale. There are 2 opportunities for the public to participate in the process: today during the Planning Commission meeting and again during the City Council Committee meeting. The bill authorizes the public property to separately deed a portion of 592830 Germantown Ave in Council District 8 to the Philadelphia Authority for Industrial Development, also known as PAID. The bill does not legally subdivide the existing parcel or propose any development. After the bill passes, the owners will need to obtain a zoning permit to propose the legal lot adjustment and any subsequent development. The existing parcel contains 2 structures. On the left-hand side of the plan is the police station for the 14th District. On the right-hand side is the historic Germantown Town Hall. Both structures are to remain and are not subject to any changes due to this property bill. The intent of the property bill is to create 2 separately deeded parcels, of which the one containing Town Hall can be conveyed. The property containing the police station, shown on the left, is to remain under city ownership. The Germantown Town Hall, shown on the right, has conceptual plans to restore the exterior and renovate the interior through a private developer after the property is conveyed. The current proposed use is for a commercial kitchen in the basement and a charter school on the ground and upper floors. The potential development is, again, not directly part of this property bill, but the owner will still need to apply for a zoning permit to legally subdivide the property and propose any of the developments and improvements to the site. As shown on the screen, there's no change to the parcel's existing zoning of CMX to commercial mixed use. 592830 Germantown Ave is outlined in red. The portion proposed to be conveyed is outlined and shaded in yellow. The Upper Northwest District Plan from 2018 recommended adaptive reuse of the town hall and the rotunda and the exterior plaza steps to be prioritized as public access spaces. The current development scheme does not specify whether these spaces will be developed as public, but the property bill is consistent with the Upper North District plan recommendations. Renew 811, preserve culturally, historically, and architecturally significant buildings, sites, structures, and districts. And renew 813, preserve and reuse all at-risk historic anchor buildings and commercial corridor buildings. Therefore, the staff recommendation is for approval of Property Bill 260242.
Thanks so much, Nina. We have a staff recommendation for approval as presented by staff. Are there any questions from the commissioners on the recommendation as presented?
Hi, this is Commissioner Gonzalez. I just have a question, just to be clear. So the property, the whole property is going to be conveyed to PIDC and then subdivided at that point, and then the yellow conveyed to someone else?
Just the portion in yellow is going to be conveyed.
Just the portion in yellow
Yeah.
is going to be conveyed at this
Yeah.
point?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Lee?
Hi, this project has been making news a bit lately, and I guess this is only one process in a much larger comprehensive plan. So, I guess a couple of questions. One is, this particular parcel you are outlining now, there is going to be a survey so that the actual boundary is going to be decided between the developer and the city.
Yes.
And,
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. So the property bill does include a map similar to this, which was completed by the district surveyors and was reviewed, but it hasn't been through the planning commission process of reviewing for the subdivision. So we still have to verify that all of those elements on the survey drawing are accurate and compliant with the code.
And the building has very beautiful bones. So I guess in the next series of development, would it come back to the planning commission again? Or it is going through other commissions? Also, if it is done as of right, I guess we won't see it again.
Yeah, at this point, the information we have about what the concept is, it is likely by right. So this would be the only time we would see development. If something changes in the use or any other, variances are needed, then the planning commission wouldn't see it again, but it might be seen, at another board or hearing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner Lee. Any more questions from the commissioners? All right, seeing none, do we have any questions from the audience present? Seeing none. Sarah, do we have anything online?
Yes, Chair, we have two people with their hands raised online. The first is Julie Stapleton Carroll.
And I'll just mention as well, the developer is in attendance in person and the architect is online, and possibly a representative from Department of Public Property.
Thank you, Nina. Julie, I believe you said it was.
Yes,
Hi.
Julie Stapleton Carroll.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Great. My name is Julie Stapleton Carroll. I'm the zoning chair for West Central Germantown Neighborhood Association, which is the RCO, where Town Hall sits within our boundaries. We're not here to oppose redevelopment. We want this building active and serving the community. It's been vacant for many years and it's been an eyesore. But we're deeply concerned about transferring the deed with no real accountability if the project stalls. We are asking you to attach two very basic protections. First, a clear performance timeline with concrete milestones over the next 2 to 3 years. And second, a reversion clause so that if those milestones aren't met, that the ownership automatically returns to the city and the property can go back out to bid. This is a public asset in the heart of our neighborhood. If this particular developer can deliver, great. But if they can't, the building shouldn't be stuck in limbo for another decade. Please make sure the community doesn't lose control of Town Hall without any guarantee it will actually be developed. We are also concerned about how the 14th District Police Station will be impacted both during construction and afterward. Have there been ongoing discussions with the 14th District, and are there concrete plans? If so, can we see them? Thank you.
Thank you for that, Julie. Believe Nina said that there may have been a representative from DPP,
Yes.
right? Is he or she online? Do we have a name?
I'm not sure the
There
name.
is Suzanne Ponson, that's another person
No,
online. Is
that's
that the-
another
okay.
RCO. They might not have been able to make it.
Okay.
But I can answer that as best as I can. So
Nina.
for the second question about the police station, I think that would come at the time of the development proposal. Again, it would be a by right development, but the expectation would be that they would, have a plan when the construction is going on that's contained within their property. And then for the first question, I did look into this. There isn't anything in the current bill as written that there's any sort of sunset clause or, so there would need to be a new bill introduced if it was being conveyed back to the city. the same way we're taking this property bill now. So that would be our process. And if there's any other questions about the sale or the terms of the sale, that would go to Department of Public Property directly.
That was my understanding. Thank you, Nina,
Yeah.
for taking a stab at that. Commissioner Brown, his question?
I just want to clarify one more time. You said a school and a community kitchen?
Yeah, I think, so I attended a community meeting a few months ago with the developer. They also are still taking in feedback from the community on the program of the site. The rotunda, I believe it's the front part of the building, they are hoping to make public, but the lower level is going to be a commercial kitchen or some sort of kitchen use, and then the upper levels will be a charter school.
Thank you, Nina. Are there any questions online? I see.
Yes, we have two more. The next is Suzanne Ponson.
Oh, actually, before Suzanne speaks, do we want to give the developer or architect an opportunity to answer the question that was asked about kind of what the, I guess, development obligation might be? Or, yeah, please. Yep. Well, I certainly know you. Would you mind stating your name for the record, please?
I believe you have to turn the mic on as well.
You want me to state my name for the record? Yes. Okay. Anthony Fullard. Do you want me to spell it? Okay. Okay. So again, I brought some handouts. If you want me to pass it out to the commissioners, I can. Okay, fine. Okay.
Excuse me, the question online was more so just like, is there been any thought to the development timeline? I mean, there's obviously some community sensitivity around the assets along that corridor. So if you could speak to what the intention is, what you're thinking timing wise, and you know, community outreach on the horizon, I
Yes.
appreciate it.
Sure. So definitely a timeline. We are in talks with our potential tenant. We begin to sign some preliminary documents of some commitments of the charter school entity that we are working with, and also the restaurant that we propose to put in the basement area of a state-of-the-art commercial kitchen, ghost kitchens there, to help to support the local restaurants and also food trucks in the area as well, to help to, you know, spur more restaurant eateries, because it's a walkable thoroughfare there, and we want to really enhance the commercial corridor. But to also answer your question about a timeline, because we are working with our anchor tenant, which will be a charter school, we have a timeline that we have to meet, that they want to be in that building the third quarter of 2028. So we have to hit that date because that's when they are looking to open up their school.
Thank you, Mr. Flart.
Mhm.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Commissioner Lee has a question.
This project was considering residential previously, and we all understand financial pictures change because of the interest rate environment.
Mhm.
Do you have any particular issues with putting a particular time frame? And then if it doesn't work out, it can go back to a city portfolio?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about the first plan that we had mapped out for this development, this development on the town hall itself as the existing structure, that would not pencil. We had an A, B, and we had an A plan and a B plan. The A plan was to restore the town hall and then also to put up affordable senior housing in the back, but that would not pencil because the senior housing was positioned to support the town hall, because that just would not generate enough revenue for the construction costs. So we pivot from that idea, and we were able to look to just focus on the town hall structure itself and then just go all commercial. And once we did that, and then we was able to identify a anchor tenant, then that was able to pencil out so that we can just focus on the town hall, do the preservation, construction aspect of that building and just get that piece done. That's our focus. We have abandoned any ideas, any focus on housing right now. We just want to get that building up so that the community, can also, have access to it as, at certain points in time, but also to meet what our anchor tenant needs are.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you. Question, so the charter school already has a charter? It's an operating charter?
Yes,
Okay.
it's an operating charter right now. They are expanding, and they are pretty much at their capacity, but they do have a charter to add more students
Okay,
to
great.
that capacity.
I love redeveloping old buildings, and this looks like an amazing building and a really great use. So I really commend you for your development plans.
Mhm.
I just would like to know, and maybe we don't have a representative from PIDC, but making sure that what guardrails are they putting in place to make sure that if this development doesn't work out, that the property stays within PIDC and becomes available for other developments. I think because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that these buildings are developed and don't stay vacant for longer than they need to.
Yeah, and I think that's more of a PIDC answer, but we are going to develop this. This is going to be a successful project. We have a pretty, strong plan because we have two anchor tenants that are committed to making this happen, and that's what we need in order to, make developments happen. That you have the end user there, and we have the end user there, and they're committed. And so, yeah, this is going to happen. This is something that you can be proud of. And also, I just want to also speak to that. This is a preservation project, so we are looking to restore this building to, its original exterior. There may be some minor, and that's why I brought these pictures. So y'all made me bring all this stuff, and y'all ain't gonna look at it. But it's going to be some minor changes interior, but when you go into the building itself, I mean, the flooring, of course, we have to, upgrade the walls and things of that nature, but the trim work, and we're not touching it. It is in perfect condition, so we're excited about the building. We're excited about the historical factors and artifacts that are in there as well.
Any more questions for any members of the commissioners? Let me go back to our online queries.
Okay, yes, we still have two virtual hands raised, Chair. The first is Suzanne Ponson.
Hello, Suzanne.
Good morning, or good afternoon, sorry. My name is Suzanne, Suzanne Ponsen, and I am president of West Central Germantown Neighbors. Julie Stapleton Carroll, our zoning chair, spoke earlier, and I want to reiterate her comments that we are definitely looking forward to having that property developed. There's no question about that. We do have reservations, and one of them, as Ms. Lee and Ms. Gonzalez stated, is a time frame that that if they reach a certain period and it's not developed properly and in use, that it would revert back to the city. The current developer, Mr. Fullard, and West Powelton Development, has had an MOU since 2022. So he's basically tied up the property, and with the help of the councilwoman. We have a very similar situation down the road with the YWCA, which I will not go into, but I'm sure you've heard of the issues that are surround that property. The other piece of it, and the reason I have to say that we are concerned and want a clause in there, a restriction clause that would, allow it to revert back to the city, is because Mr. Fullard has not proven his ability to develop property at 122 East Horter Street. Mount Airy News, which he bought about the same time or a little bit before he got this MOU on the town hall. And that property, he started the build, but it never is completed. And you can drive by there and see that it's not completed. We're very concerned. We just don't want this to sit idle like the Y has. And the community has waited too long, um, and we are tired. We want to see something good. We do, but we also want some assurance that if this isn't done within a certain period of time, that it comes back on the market so that we can develop it another way. I'm disappointed that the councilwoman never came to the community before to tell us she was going to do this. I'm very disappointed, and I speak on behalf of our all of the immediate neighbors there. We have a very active community organization, and we're very concerned. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Sarah, do we have another?
Okay, we have one more, A. Weiss with Solo.
Yes.
Hey, Allison.
So thank you. Good afternoon. I Solo Germantown Civic Association, and we have some of the same concerns, but I wanted to bring up something different. This drive aisle on the north side of the town hall in this division, that I suppose is right along the street that adjoins the next apartment, well, what's going to be an apartment building in the future. And I don't understand from this drawing how this driveway relates to the street. And there would be concern that because there's very little parking for the town hall, that street be used in a way that would be dangerous.
So I could speak to that. The driveway that you're referencing is on the plan north side of the town hall. So that's an existing 12-foot driveway. In the current bill, it's shown this way. If it's worked out differently in the subdivision that the two properties share it as an easement, that's still to be determined. But there's an existing curb cut there, and unless the town hall is proposing a curb cut on Haynes, that would be the likely access point to the parking in the rear for both the town hall and the existing police station. Hope that
Right, but
answers
what
your
I'm saying is this is going to activate that driveway in a way that it hasn't in the past been
Yeah,
activated.
I mean, it's currently activated. There is parking in between the two structures right now. So it is currently used. Whether it'll be used a little bit more at different times of day, certainly because of the program and use of the site. But again, this is not, fully worked out in the current subdivision in the property bill.
So why are we working on it if it's not fully worked out?
So the property bill does not actually do the subdivision. That would have to be a zoning permit at a later date once the property has been conveyed.
If I
Okay,
may
well-
add, Ms. Weiss, and into the points that were made earlier, I believe there is limited opportunity to do certain things along those lines when you're just in the MOU stage. So I think that this property bill is going to set the stage for a lot of the things that I think will allow this particular applicant to address the concerns that are being rendered, not just here today, but from the community. But I think that this is an important step in being able to take or pay some attention toward the concerns around the property and reactivating and things that previously weren't activated now being activated. So again, I just want to reiterate that this particular step in the process is going to allow for those types of things to happen.
Right, and our other major concern would be that this developer doesn't really have experience in historic preservation projects, and that, again, we would be concerned if things didn't get done in a relatively reasonable time. that it would revert back to the city ownership.
Understand.
it's-
I would like to add that it is a historically designated property, so it will
Yes,
go
it
through
is.
Historical Commission, so I have no concerns with that portion of the process. As well, the architect, Akinol Shade, does have historic preservation experience.
And also the GC is Domus Construction, who also did the Met and also the Lorraine Hotel. That's who will be leading the construction of this project.
Thank you, Nina, and thank you, Ms. Weiss. Terry, we have another hand.
Chair, we have Suzanne Ponson back on.
Hi, Suzanne. Just want to recognize that you've made a comment before. Feel free to limit it along the lines of anything that has been already stated, but just, we hear you. Feel free to speak.
Yes, yes. This is about something that Allison referred to, and that is the proposed apartment complex of like 65 units, something like that, on the other side, north of that red line. And their plan has an egress, an entrance and egress from a parking garage under their building. So it'll be two-way traffic along that corridor. I'm talking about that narrow, whatever, I don't know the exact measurement of the distance between the red line and the yellow line there, but there will be two-way traffic there. And they'll be coming out into a very dangerous intersection onto Germantown Avenue. The other piece of it is the police use that driveway. So not only with the apartment, the residents of the planned apartment building to the north be using the driveway in and out, the police use it as a way to come in and out since Haynes Street is one way. I'd like to just add that to the mix here. And may I ask one question, and that is, so from what what was mentioned and Nina has explained, this I'm not even sure what you call it. It's not a subdivision yet, exactly. The subdivision will come later, and how soon would that come? Is that subdivision subject to an RCO meeting? Is it, what are, I don't understand just like deeding a certain section of a city-owned property without a subdivision. I don't understand that.
So to clarify, the verbiage of the bill is that it allows it to be conveyed. So once it's allowed to be conveyed, they can submit for the subdivision. And then a note about the driveway, it's 12 feet wide.
Okay.
And again, when the town hall goes through zoning permit phase, it'll be subject to the same streets review. So if they're adding additional curb cuts or changing the flow of traffic in any way, it would be reviewed at that point.
And then would there be then it would be subdivided, and would the community be able to have input at that when whoever is going to handle the subdivision?
So again, the subdivision would be, unless there's a dimensional variance requested, would be by right. And so that would be, along with the zoning permit, would be reviewed at a staff level by the Planning Commission.
And what if the Mr. Fullard later, after he has successfully developed town hall, reinstitutes the idea of having an apartment building in that section behind town hall, but before the police station? Would that come before the community?
Yeah, again, none of the development is subject to this property bill. If any of the development proposed at a subsequent date is not by right, then yes, it would come before the community for a variance through the typical zoning.
Well, would an apartment building be by right behind the town hall?
I don't believe so, but I don't know at this time.
Okay.
Suzanne.
I would need to see a development proposal.
Thank you, Nina. And Suzanne, at this point in time, I think Ms. Solomonic has made it clear that this bill does not reflect the development decisions at this point. So
No,
we appreciate your
I
insight.
understand, but I wanted to understand the community's, any opportunity we have to have further input. That's all I was asking.
So noted. Thank you so much.
Chair, we have no other questions.
Thank you so much. To get back to the staff approval for recommendation, if there are no more questions, I'll take a motion from.
Chair, Commissioner Valley, I just want to restate something to
Sure.
make sure that it's
I'm sorry.
clear. So we heard the desire from the community
Yes.
and comments here from our board to put some kind of timeline around this so that if the development doesn't go through, that it would revert back to PIDC. I believe I understood that that can't happen unless there's a new bill proposed. So we are not able to, in this session, suggest a recommendation for approval with that kind of modification. Is that accurate?
Correct.
That's correct.
So that would
That's our
that would
understanding.
constitute a new bill.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And I will say, just to share with my fellow commissioners, I think Atkin Nolan Shade is a reputable architect with a lot of experience in historic buildings. Domus contractors have that experience. And I also know, through having been through the process myself, that the Historic Commission is going to keep a close eye on the development of this project. So those are just some words of comfort for the community and to share here before we go ahead and move with a motion.
Thank you for that insight, Commissioner. Again, we have a staff recommendation for approval. Is there a motion to accept, excuse me, is there a motion to move on a recommendation of the approval for bill number 260242?
I move to recommend approval of Bill 260242.
We have a motion from Commissioner Valle and properly seconded by Commissioner Iding. I will now poll. Commissioner Clinton?
Aye.
Commissioner Brown?
Aye.
Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner Iding?
Aye.
Commissioner Valle?
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you so much, Nina.
Thank you, everybody.
And I'll definitely take one, Mr. Fuller. Thank you, Mr. Fuller. The next action item. Zoning bill number 260238, and that will be presented by Brian. Hey, Brian.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Brian Wenrick of the Planning Commission staff. Today I present to you Zoning Bill 260238 to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within the areas bounded by Ludlow Street, 41st Street, West Gerard Avenue, and 48th Street. Shown here is a diagram of the process for zoning map changes. I should note that there is opportunities for the public to participate at 2 points in the process, today at Pcpc's meeting review and during the City Council committee meetings. Shown here is an aerial photograph of West Philadelphia. This bill proposes to remap 4 schools in the 3rd Council District. Shown here is Paul Robeson High School, proposed to be remapped from CMX4 to SP Civic, Special Purpose Civic Institutional. These graphics here are the maps that were introduced as part of the council bill. So there's some certain technical inaccuracies related to the drafting of the maps. We require a survey for the maps and dimensions to make the process, to complete the process. So we lack that for these maps. So I'm sharing with you the graphics as introduced. This is Parkway West High School. Proposed to go from RM1 to SP Civic Institutional. Blankenberg Elementary School, RSA 5, proposed to go to SP Civic Institutional. And Martha Washington Elementary School, proposed to go from RSA 5 to SP Civic Institutional, that's special purpose. Staff recommendation is for a 45-day hold on this bill based on the technical issues with drafting of the zoning maps, and because we have not heard back from the property owner, we would like more time to gather information to assess the impacts of these bills.
Thank you, Brian. Any commission, excuse me. We have a staff recommendation on the table for taking an additional 45 days on this particular bill. Are there any questions from the commissioners on the recommendation as presented? Commissioner Lee?
Thank you. It is a great recommendation. There are several things that would like to suggest we consider going forward. Number one, I guess these are decommissioned schools that are going to be made this SP district. Number one, are there a lot of presidents in the city? We understand there are universities in this SP district. Is this particular destination going to limit the ability of reusing these buildings if they are going to be decommissioned for the long term? So there are some planning consideration in terms of restrictions. Is that going to help the city? Or this particular neighborhood's preference, we see that up here. Second, charter schools and Department of Education schools are a little different. I guess charter school being maybe on a leasing schedule, that is a little different. So my question is that why they separate the two bills? And then third, is it tied to any particular, I guess, asbestos issues related to the school? I guess as we look at the destination, how are we going to think about the long-term reuse of some of these buildings? So what is in the community's best interest?
So Commissioner Lee, just a quick answer to the question, yes to all of the above. I think that is why we're taking an additional 45 days to really kind of comprehensively consider what the impacts of what could be a limiting designation. Ultimately, these schools have been perpetually vacant for years. It speaks volumes. And we don't want to limit our ability to comprehensively discuss what they could potentially be repurposed for, especially when we are having a very heightened conversation about repurposing properties for housing and meeting other needs that are, the crisis of the day, so to speak. But to your point, all of the above, yes.
Yeah.
Any more questions from the rest of the commissioners? Any questions from the audience present? Seeing none, do we have anything online?
No virtual questions, Chair.
Well, again, commissioners, we have a staff recommendation to take an additional 45 days. Is there a motion to accept staff recommendation?
makes a motion to accept the recommendation for 45 days.
I second.
A motion from Commissioner Hiding, properly seconded by Commissioner Gonzalez, and I'll now poll. Commissioner Clinton?
Aye.
Commissioner Brown?
Aye.
Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner Hiding?
Aye.
Commissioner Valle?
Aye.
And Commissioner Gonzalez?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. And Brian is back for item number 4,
Yeah.
zoning bill number 260239.
Thank you again, Brian Winrick, Planning Commission staff. Today I present to you Bill 260239 to amend Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain area of land located within the area bounded by Baltimore Avenue, Cobb Street Parkway, SEPTA Railroad right-of-way, and Cobb Creek. This shown in the aerial photograph here is the CAP West Philadelphia Preparatory Charter School. This bill proposes to remap this parcel from RSA 5 to SP Civic Institutional, which also includes educational and healthcare. KIPP West Philadelphia Preparatory Charter School is proposed to go from RSA 5 to SP Civ. I forgot to mention this bill was also introduced on March 19th as well. And similarly to the past one, there's a technical issue with the shape irregular boundary of the property and not having a survey to provide the dimensions to accurately record this. So we recommend a 45-day hold on this bill based on the technical issue with drafting of the zoning maps, and because we have not heard back from the property owner, I would like more time to gather information to assess the impacts of this bill.
So in retrospect, we probably should have took these last 2 items together. But we, again, have a staff recommendation to take an additional 45 days on zoning bill number 260239. Do we have any questions from the commissioners?
I have a question.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes. Is this school being used as a school right now, or is that vacant?
This school is not slated for closure by the district starting in the 2027-2028 school year. So yes, it's currently occupied.
It is
It
currently
has
occupied.
no current
Okay.
plans for
So it
closure.
would make sense that to change the zoning underline, once all the questions are answered, for the requested designation.
I could answer that at that time maybe, but
Okay.
I hope so.
Yeah, just as a note, I think that, several years ago, the city did the district plans, and along with that, there was some rezoning or remapping of certain areas. I think that in the future, when we, do the same thing again, that we should, as a city, include maybe RCOs and other groups and owners to to make sure that zoning matches the use at that time. It will make it much easier, when these things come before the planning commission.
Yes, I guess I could answer your question in a roundabout way. In 2018, we did the West District Plan, and SP Civic Institutional was not a zoning category choice at that time. It was created after that district plan. So there's no specific recommendations in the plan to remap to that, but we do recommend corrective rezoning through the plans specifically. So that would qualify under certain circumstances.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gonzalez. Is there any more questions from the commissioners on the item as presented? Commissioner Lee?
I was going to say I move to recommend.
Well, I think
Okay.
we're there, so hold that thought. I just saw you reaching, and I thought you were going for the unmute button. Are there any questions from the audience in attendance on this item? Seeing none.
No online questions,
Thank you
Chair.
so much, Sarah. And I'll now call for a motion to accept the staff recommendation.
I move to recommend accepting the staff recommendation of 45 additional days.
Thank you, Commissioner Lee. Is there a second?
I second.
Motion properly seconded by Commissioner Brown. I will now call roll. Commissioner Clinton.
Aye.
Commissioner Brown.
Aye.
Commissioner Lee.
Aye.
Commissioner Iding.
Aye.
Commissioner Valle.
Aye.
And Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you.
Moving along on the agenda, we have zoning bill number 260297, and that will be presented by Emma Sana. Hey, on, Emma.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay? All right, so good afternoon. My name is Emma Sonner with the Planning Commission staff, and I will be presenting zoning bill 260297 to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Spruce Street, 34th Street, Civic Center Boulevard, and University Avenue. The bill was introduced by Councilmember Jamie Gautier on April 9th, 2026. A bit about the site we are looking at. The site being proposed for rezoning is federally owned. The U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, who operates the VA hospital on this site, is requesting this bill to rezone the parcel so that its zoning designation reflects its current use and is consistent with surrounding properties. Nonetheless, federally owned sites are not required to comply with local zoning codes. Here we can see an aerial of the site highlighted in yellow. South University Avenue is west of the site, Civic Center Boulevard to the south, and Curie Boulevard to the north. The site, despite its hospital use, is zoned as RM4. Surrounding sites with hospital uses are zoned as CMX 4 and 5, as we can see here in the red. There's also a large amount of special purpose institutions, SPINs, in the area in light blue. These are parcels associated with the University of Pennsylvania, some of which with hospital uses. And the bill requests rezoning the site to CMX 4, again, to match the use of the parcel as well as to be consistent with surrounding properties. The University Southwest District Plan recommends this site for corrective rezoning to reflect current and future land uses, this being CMX zoning. And staff recommendation is for approval.
Thank you so much, Emma. We have a staff recommendation for approval for zoning bill number 260297. Are there any questions from the commissioners on the recommendation as presented? Commissioner Lee?
My question is, there seems to be another VA facility to the west of University Avenue, is that in active use? It is not really seen here, but it is shown on the map. And there is a VA Medical Center Drive. So if all of that is part of a campus, why are we just looking at the highlighted parcel? I understand that that bright red color seems to be a private building that says Air Management Services. So I understand why you want to exclude that. But to the west of University Avenue, is there a reason why it was not included? And are there any current development plans for this particular building? Is that why it is going through this process now?
Yeah, so I don't want to speculate as far as why this specific site was chosen. We could see here that the what was selected is RM4, so that zoning didn't match the current use. As far as development that's going on within the bounds of this site, the only thing that has really come up on the radar was the Department of Veteran Affairs plans to transfer ownership of an access road to PGHDC, which is a nonprofit co-owned by Pen and Chop to facilitate a garage expansion. But other than that, no other uses or development plans.
It seems unusual that suddenly something like this, because in the past, federal properties were very forward about saying they don't have to comply with local zoning. So
Sure.
why is that action happening now is what I'm trying to understand.
Right, and I think that's fair. I don't want to speculate, but yeah, I understand the perspective.
And to follow that, I think it's concerning because this place has been mentioned in negative terms quite a few times in the last recent past by the federal government. And I'm just wondering if there's some connection there. Because to be blunt, though, the God above wants to do away with it and do something else. So, this couldn't have any connection with that, or could it? Because that's a good question. Why?
Yeah, I've heard, I don't want to speculate, but I definitely understand the concern as far as why do we want to do this now? I don't know of any type of development proposals for this property or any type of change in use.
Commissioner Lee?
Is there an opportunity to request 45 days additional review and involve the engagement of the surrounding property owners and public?
Yes.
Any more questions from any commissioners? We have any comments or questions from the audience? All right, seeing none. Sarah, do we have anybody online?
No virtual questions, Chair.
Well, given the conversation, I will now open up to a recommendation, but encourage you to look at the sheet to make sure we get that out the right way. I do understand the concerns, given current events and kind of the climate right now.
So I make a motion at this point to turn down the recommendation.
Cool.
And then if we want to do the 45 days, it has to be done afterwards, right? We have to vote on this first?
Well, you could actually vote to take 45 days to review further the bill.
Then I'll make the motion that way. I thought I had to do one before the other.
I think it's the fourth blue box on.
I had my right glasses on.
We have a motion on the floor from Commissioner Iding, who is moving to take 45 days for further review of Bill number 260297. Do we have a second?
I second.
I think Commissioner Lee got it in first. Motion properly second. I'll now call roll. Commissioner Clinton?
Aye.
Commissioner Brown?
Aye.
Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner Iding?
Aye.
Commissioner Valle?
Aye.
And Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
Motion carries to take 45 days for further review. Thank you so much, Emma. All right, next action item is zoning bill number 260296, and that will be presented by Keith Davis. Hey, Keith.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Keith Davis with the Philadelphia City Planning Commission, and I'm presenting zoning bill 260296, which requests the approval, which requests to approve amendments to the University of Pennsylvania Master Plan in the area bounded by Walnut Street, 36th Street, Spruce Street, and 39th Street, related to the class of 1920 Commons building at 3800 Locust Walk, and also to the Stuart Weitzman Theater addition to the Annenberg Center of the Performing Arts, located at 3680 Walnut Street. This bill was introduced on April 9th by Councilwoman Gautier. And just as a refresher, so development proposals in master plan zone districts are first screened by the Planning Commission staff against the code to determine if the scope and scale of the proposed project qualifies as a minor amendment, which is approvable by staff, or as a major amendment, which requires a bill of council, Planning Commission recommendations, and finally, City Council approval. So in this case, the applicant, the University of Pennsylvania, approached planning with two projects, each of which on its own would qualify as a major amendment. In the interest of time and government efficiency, we grouped the two otherwise unrelated projects together under one bill for one vote today. Penn recognizes the potential risk that this might present, but supports the action. So approval of this bill would allow Penn to proceed with updating the master plan and to pursue permits for the two construction projects. Okay, so this map here reflects the University of Pennsylvania's master plan district. The district border is in red and building footprints are shown in blue. Two project sites are called out. And each project is in addition to an existing building with no change of use proposed. So special purpose institutional master plan districts are regulated by their cumulative occupied area, their gross floor area, and their parking. This is Penn's master plan table, which is essentially a living document to take account of existing and proposed conditions in the district against the aforementioned regulations. So, this table captures the proposed changes to the occupied area and gross floor area that require approval, as well as minor amendment changes that have been approved by staff since the last major amendment. We will look at these numbers more closely in a few slides, but first I'd like to give an overview of the projects. And we have representatives from Penn in the audience today, so if there's any questions, they can take them after the presentation. Okay, so first, Penn is proposing an addition to the Annenberg Center of the Performing Arts, located on the south side of Walnut Street between 36th Street and 37th Street Walk. The proposed addition, which is shown here in red, would occupy a portion of an internal courtyard. So, the University Penn is, this rendering here shows the proposed addition from the courtyard. The proposal is a gray structure with vertical relief. The addition will support a 150-seat theater addition to be known as the Weitzman Theater. So to summarize, the project includes a renovation of 3,000 square feet of the existing Annenberg Center, plus about 8,500 square feet of new gross floor area and 6,100 square feet of new occupied area to build a 9,472 square foot, 150-seat theater. The project does not impact the street frontage, and the applicants are aiming for 2027 groundbreaking. Now to the second project. This would be an addition to the existing 1920 Commons building, which is a student dining hall lounge. The Commons sits behind a parking garage at the intersection of Spruce and 38th Street and is accessed by pedestrians via the Locust Walk footpath over 38th Street. So this is a north elevation showing the existing 1920 Commons building on the left, which is beyond the landing from the Locust Walk Bridge over 38th Street. Then the glass building on the right is a rendering of the addition. So shown in the rendering are the top two floors. These floors would function to open up the programmable space at the existing Commons building by taking on the vertical circulation of the building, restrooms, and some of the passive lounge space. There is another floor below that is at grade with and accessed by an existing curb cut off of Spruce Street. So this will serve as a new loading dock. This new entry pavilion to the 1920 Commons will include 4,200 square feet of new gross floor area, 6,600 square feet of new occupied area, and the new loading dock. Actually, let me move to here. The proposal frees up the existing 1920 Commons to expand its dining operations and dining options. So like the Weitzman project, there are no direct impacts to the street frontage, and the service driveway will remain as is, albeit with a new loading dock. Okay, so this is returning to the table. So this table summarizes the cumulative impact of the two development projects, as well as the recently staff-approved minor amendments against the master plan district requirements. So I want to draw your attention to the top row in white. It says total area and spins. So you can see that the existing total remains the same because there's no expansion of the spins district. Next, moving to gross floor area, you'll see a proposed increase of 16,213 square feet. Compare the proposed total of 15.3 million square feet to the max permitted 32.7 million. As you can see, the project with proposal remains compliant for gross floor area. Next, there's a proposed increase of 14,348 square feet to the occupied area. And with that increase, the cumulative occupied area in the district is well below the maximum permitted 5,731,000 square feet. And finally, the project proposes no new parking spaces, but the master plan district already has nearly double the minimum required spaces. So in summary, with the consideration of the two projects and the recently approved minor amendments, Penn remains compliant with its master plan district regulations. And consequently, staff recommends approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. We have a staff recommendation for the approval of zoning bill number 260296. Any questions from Commissioner? Also restating Keith's point that the staff or folks from Penn are present to answer any questions that we may have. Really?
Thank you. I have some questions on the numbers, but perhaps get to that a little bit later. Anytime when you have program expansion, always entails some changes in circulation patterns and the like. So how is this program expansion going to affect like back of the house, loading dock? How is traffic pattern going to be altered a little bit? Do you have a sense of that? And because you have a 150-seat theater, it looks like what I'm reading here, the 7,000 spaces at Penn of parking space includes both public and staff parking. So without additional parking spaces, how do we know that it is going to be, I guess, providing people who need to be close to the performing spaces have access? Are there any particular explanation on these kind of traffic patterns?
Fortunately, we have Penn here, the applicants, who can, I can punt the question to.
Yeah, please approach and state your names for the records as well. And thank you for joining us today.
I have to press. Okay. My name is Eva Liu, and I'm with the Office of University Architect at Penn.
My name is Kurfen, also with Office of University of Penn.
So just to take the question a little bit apart, The question about the change in circulation for additional program, was that about the class of 1920 dining, or was that about the Weitzman Theater?
Is that the one with a new loading dock? So are you changing traffic patterns?
Okay, so class of 1920 will get a new loading dock because its position moves from where the existing dock is, but there is an existing dock that serves that dining hall. So it's not a new loading dock in terms of additional loading spaces or fewer loading spaces. It's the location moves. So we still have the same number of loading bays that we currently have for the class of 1920 dining commons. And it's still accessed from Spruce Street from the existing curb cut.
Thank you. I'm just asking the questions because trucks are getting bigger and bigger. And we have seen closing of Locust Street around Academy of Music. So I just would like to understand the patterns a little bit better.
Any more questions while we have
The
cameras
garage
here?
question?
Oh, sorry.
So the parking for the Annenberg Center. So I think actually, Keith, maybe we sent something incorrect to you because with the additional square foot, we do need to allocate space for the additional square foot at the one per 4,000. So I think that was our mistake. We didn't include it in the description. But so the spaces are not created new to satisfy the requirement for parking. We allocate specific spaces to the specific projects that increase square footage. So there is a public and permit parking garage kind of catty corner across the street from the Annenberg Center, and that is where these spaces will be allocated. So there's not a creation of new spaces, but there will be an allocation of spaces for this square footage.
If I may add, we have a lot more parking spaces in reality than what's required by zoning. So the zoning allocation are absorbed or accommodated by our existing parking garages.
Well, thank you very much for putting that into consideration, especially when performances can be late at night and you really think about reallocation to accommodate the additional needs. So commend you for that. My second question, I guess, are on numbers because there are a couple of tables. The first one, when we talk about minor amendments, my understanding is that you are renovating existing space. So I almost wonder if it is even considered increase. So you should get a credit for that, I suppose, because you're looking at existing space. And then my other question is understanding the commons area where you have a gross area addition of 4,200 plus square foot, but your occupied area, which is your lot coverage, is 6,000. So, you know, is there a lot of just canopy space or how is that accommodated?
No, we calculated the total gross floor area of the existing and addition based on today's zoning code requirement. And then we use that number, subtract the existing number in the current Spings master plan and get that net increase. Same thing, same process happened to the occupied area. So that's how we got the two numbers. Doesn't sound natural, the occupied area is bigger than gross floor area, but the only speculation I can think is when the Spings district established originally, they used a number that was calculated differently than today. We would do it today. Because the building was built before the Spings district was established.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any more questions for the commissioners while we have representatives from Penn here? All right, seeing none, do we have any questions in the audience? All familiar faces, I don't think so. Sarah, we have anybody?
No virtual questions, Chair.
Seeing no virtual questions, thank you, appreciate you. We have staff recommendation for approval for zoning bill number 260296. Is there a motion to accept for approval?
I make a motion for to accept staff recommendation for approval.
Motion on the table from Commissioner Gonzalez. Do we have a second?
I second.
Properly seconded by Commissioner Valle, and I'll now call roll. Commissioner Clinton?
Aye.
Commissioner Brown?
Aye.
Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner Iden?
Aye.
Commissioner Valle?
Aye.
And Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you so much, Keith. All right, I think that brings us to zoning bill number 260302. Another amendment on the zoning map, and that will be presented by Nathan Grace.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nathan Grace from the Planning Commission staff, and I will be presenting on Zoning Bill 260302 to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Lippincott Street, 20th Street, Toronto Street, and 22nd Street. And this bill is introduced by Councilmember Bass. This is an aerial view of the 4 properties I'll be talking about. The property on the far left is part of the Panatee Recreation Center. The next property over is a 4-story vacant industrial building where there is a LIHTC proposal for 56 dwelling units, which I will show you later in this presentation. The next couple of properties kind of sandwiched there in the middle of the yellow is church and row homes. And then the last section to the far right is a PRA-owned lot that is currently under construction to include 48 dwelling units with first floor commercial. This is just a street view of the existing vacant industrial property where the LIHTC proposal for 56 dwelling units. And this is another street view. And you can see on the right there is the current PRA-owned lot that is under construction. In the middle there is the row homes and a church. And then you can see on the far left is that industrial building again. The current zoning for all these properties is I1 light industrial. And we are proposing to rezone the far left, that's part of the recreation center, to SPPOA. The property that includes the industrial building to CMX3. The properties that include the row homes and the church to RTA1. And then the PRA property to the far right to RMX3. And this is just a site plan of the proposal of that industrial building. This is another site plan of that property. And due to the LIHTC proposal supporting the mayor's home initiative and looking at the current uses of the property, staff recommends approval of zoning bill 260302.
Thank you so much, Nathan. Just kind of want to express my happiness in seeing this come together. This has been around for a bit. So much so that I think I presented it as director at the land bank at one point in time. So it's just a testament to, how long it takes for us to do housing nowadays. And hopefully we can, continue to shorten that timeline. But I do remain encouraged that we will get it done, and glad to see this presented as such. We have a staff recommendation for approval for zoning bill number 260302. Are there any questions from the commissioners on the proposal, or recommendation as presented? Commissioner Lee?
I concur that reusing empty sites for housing is wonderful, particularly in the case of affordable housing. Because this project likely will not go through CDR review because of its size, there's still great opportunity to make industrial lofts, really great contribution to the neighborhood. My question is that you have a case where in the middle, when you're rethinking the whole site, you had mentioned RTA1 on one page, and then I guess in the diagram, yes, you also mentioned RTA2. Oh. So I just want to understand that consistency, but I do want to commend the staff in really thinking about the whole block when something on one site, one lot is happening.
Can we make that clarification?
Yes, you can do that. Yeah, the middle, sorry, was it's RTA1. Oh, RTA2, apologize, yeah.
So the diagram,
yes,
would be RTA2 with the church sitting in the middle.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Just for clarification, RTA2 is what the change should be reflecting.
Correct.
Right. Any more questions from any more commissioners? All right, seeing none, do we have any questions from the audience? All right, seeing none. We have anything online, Sarah?
No virtual questions, Chair.
All right, seeing no virtual questions, we have a staff recommendation for approval. Is there a motion to accept staff's recommendation for zoning bill number 260302?
I move to recommend approval of the staff recommendation.
We have a motion for
Second.
approval, properly seconded by Commissioner Iden. I will now call roll. Commissioner Clinton.
Aye.
Commissioner Brown.
Aye.
Commissioner Lee.
Aye.
Commissioner Iden.
Aye.
Commissioner Valle.
Aye.
And Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Nathan. All right, and the last item on the agenda is action item number zoning bill number 260302. And that will be presented by Michael.
Good afternoon, Chair, Commissioners. My name is Michael Gall with the legislation team on the Planning Commission staff, here today to present Bill number 260301, introduced by Councilmember Driscoll on April 9th, 2026, to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Milner Street, Cotman Avenue Extended, the Delaware River, Unruh Avenue Extended, Unruh Avenue, Wissinoming Street, and New State Road. The action before the commission today is a remapping of several properties surrounding the Tacony boat launch site at the end of Princeton Avenue in Tacony along the North Delaware waterfront. You can see by the site context that this is one of the rare areas where these formerly riparian neighborhoods can access their riverfront, as it is surrounded by light and medium industrial uses and is cut off from the residential community by major arterial roads, the raised bed of I-95, and an Amtrak and SEPTA right-of-way. The properties in question are located at the lower right of this map, where the ends of Princeton Avenue and Cotman Avenue meet the Delaware River. You'll notice a small triangle to the southwest of Princeton Avenue, and we'll discuss that in detail a little later. The area is currently zoned a mix of I-2 and I-1, light and medium industrial, with the exception of the Tacony boat launch itself, which is zoned SPPOA, Special Purpose Parks and Open Space Active. As part of the routing of the Kensington and Tacony Trail through the site, commonly called the K&T Trail after the former railway whose alignment it follows, Riverfront North Partnership initiated the subdivision of some properties in the area in partnership with the city. First, that triangle south of Princeton Avenue was deeded to the city by Baldor Specialty Foods, who operates in that I-1 parcel to the northwest. This is to accommodate the routing of the K&T Trail across Princeton Avenue. To the north of Princeton Avenue, the premises at 7101 Milner Street were subdivided into 3 plots. The northernmost parcel is retained by Amazon and retains the original OPA address. The trail alignment was carved out into its own parcel and was included with some riparian waterfront area. This was retained by the city for ownership and added to the inventory of Parks and Recreation. The remainder of the site is a small private marina, the Quaker City Yacht Club. This action proposes to take both the triangular parcel south of Princeton, as well as the trail and waterfront portion north of Princeton, into the SPPOA Parks and Open Space District. Additionally, the site of the marina is proposed to be changed to ICMX, Industrial Commercial Mixed Use. This determination was made in cooperation with PCPC staff as the owner of the parcel described their planned uses after its redevelopment. More about that in a moment. But for a bit of background on the site, this block was long the home of the St. Joseph's Germans Orphans Home, a campus of buildings which operated from 1859 until about 2010, when the organization abandoned the site in favor of a distributed housing model consistent with modern best practices. The remaining buildings of St. Joseph were demolished in 2021, leading to the recent redevelopment of the northern half as an Amazon fulfillment center. The Tacony boat launch itself is decades old, but is not very robust with its infrastructure, and for most of its life has been little more than a ramp, parking lot, and associated grassy area. But with the extension of the K&T Trail onto the site in 2023, new users have begun to access the amenity, and plans are in progress for further capital improvements for the remainder of the boat launch property. To the north across Princeton Avenue, we can see an oblique photo of the Quaker City Yacht Club, which consists of a small yard and marina operation without piers for most of their boats. These are currently moored out in the river at buoy locations and require a dinghy to access them. You can still see the last of the St. Joseph Orphanage building on the property behind the marina in this older photo. Developers Dana and Don Risikoff purchased the Quaker City Yacht Club parcel and have announced plans for a $40 million redevelopment of the site, which they're calling the One River Marina. They plan to expand the marina facilities for boaters, establishing more robust dock and pier structures for boat access. But the centerpiece of their design is this restaurant and entertainment complex, complete with a waterfront plaza. Here you can see a more diagrammatic rendering showing the outdoor seating arrangements and boating-related facilities planned for the complex. Zooming in a bit on the oblique imagery, we can see the parcel line subdivisions that had made these changes possible. First, at left, you can see the triangle of land deeded to the city by Baldor for the alignment of the K&T Trails terminal segment. It now crosses Princeton Avenue and continues as the first segment of the new Tacony-Holmesburg Trail currently under construction. And you can see its associated waterfront parcel at far right. Beyond these, of course, is the Amazon site, and at the foreground is the Quaker City Yacht Club. Currently, the Baldor parcels are I-1 light industrial, the boat launch is SPPOA, and the entire block between Princeton and Cottman is I-2 medium industrial. So this bill proposes to take the Baldor Triangle into SPPOA alongside the boat launch and continues that parks and open space designation for the remainder of the trail alignment and the waterfront parcel to the north. The marina site is being remapped into ICMX, a zoning designation that our team recommended specifically to accommodate the list of uses proposed by the One River Marina project. This legislation is consistent with several provisions of the comprehensive plan. Specifically, the citywide vision has a number of recommendations related to the routing of the Delaware Riverfront Greenway and the Circuit Trail system, as well as increasing opportunities for boat launch establishment and upgrade, which this project does. The North Delaware District Plan echoes these goals in its recommendation that the city increased recreation opportunities to tie communities back to the Delaware River. In our talks with the Tacony Civic Association and the Tacony Community Development Corporation, they have both listed tying the core of Tacony to their waterfront as top goals of their organizations. And they've been very supportive of this legislation when we spoke to them, as have all the property owners in the immediate area. I believe the exact words from the Tacony Civic Association were, "How can we help move this forward more quickly?" So on bill number 260301, staff recommendation is for approval.
Thank you so much, Michael. Certainly one of the more compelling proposals we've seen in a while. A true nod to waterfront activation in that effort. Any questions from the commissioners on the staff recommendation for approval for this particular bill?
I just have a comment. I really love this development. I think this is long coming for this neighborhood, especially seeing all the, the development of warehouses along the riverfront.
Yeah.
And that leaves little opportunities for community residents to really enjoy the waterfront. The only recommendation that I would have for the developers is make sure you have signage so we know where to find these amenities.
100% agree.
Because everything is hidden behind these huge warehouses. And that really is an exciting project. Love it.
I definitely hear where you're coming from, Commissioner. It is very confusing. I've gone to do site visits down there, and you get lost in those little side streets very quickly.
I can dig it.
You gotta go at night.
Okay. Oh, God. Commissioner Lee?
I second your comments, and having been involved in parcel assembly, greenway development, and doing this work is really, really important. I have a couple of questions with regards to, I guess, this new mixed-use development site. In line with the rezoning, has the developer gone ahead and worked with the federal permitting agency, such as the Army Corps of Engineers? Because there's still a long time in coming if the process is not starting soon enough, and you would like to see that integrated with your greenway development.
They have expressed that they are ongoing with that process, but that is outside our agency's purview to see into as far as we know. But they are working closely with the council office, who has been pushing this as one of their top priorities as well. So we've made them aware of the steps for waterfront development along the way.
That's great. I mean, just a sense of timing. And then the second question I have is looking at map B. It looks like the pathway was really where you designate where the greenway parcel is. I'm just curious how wide it is, and have you pursued more of a corridor approach, whereas if you do construction along the pathway, you actually have some city land to have wiggle room and staging areas?
So this project is managed, I believe, by the Streets Department. And just to be clear, the Tacony-Holmesburg Trail segment has already been constructed. This is sort of tying up the loose end at the end of the process to make sure it aligns with the use of the site. But having been involved in assemblage of trail projects before, I definitely know what you're talking about. It's difficult. The plans that I saw for the Tacony-Holmesburg Trail look nothing like the alignment at now. Same thing with the K&T Trail. It looks nothing like what was originally intended. So doing sort of proactive zoning before the final land assemblage is put together is probably going to lead to some mismatches in the future.
Not being sarcastic, I think the original concept was a straight line from one world to the next.
Yeah, as
Not
they
a straight
reach
line.
individual property owners who would not work with them to give easement or sell land back to the city, they've had to route around them. And I believe Cotman Avenue is the alignment for one of those to go around the Meadowbank site.
Thanks. Any more questions from the commissioners? Seeing none. We have any questions from our esteemed audience? Seeing none, do we have anything online, sir?
Nothing online, Chair.
No virtual questions. Again, staff recommendation for approval on the table. I'm calling for a motion.
I will make a motion to accept the approval for this great project.
We have a motion from Commissioner Heidi.
I second.
We have a motion properly seconded by Commissioner Gonzalez. I'll now poll. Commissioner Clinton.
Aye.
Commissioner Brown.
Aye.
Commissioner Lee.
Aye.
Commissioner Iden.
Aye.
Commissioner Valle.
Aye.
And Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Jared.
That brings us to the end of the agenda. Is there any old business that anybody wants to address? Any new business that anybody wants to bring up?
Air conditioning.
Oh, boy. Yeah, happy.
Had water and air.
Oh, I brought my own water. I should have sent them out. Oh, man. Well, yeah, happy fake summer, I guess you could say. All right, well, that said, I call for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do we have a motion? Properly second, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Seeing none. Thank you all.